Hello, this is Marty Gooch. I teach at the UNC Rex Wellness Center in Wakefield, and I'm here today to share a yoga stretch class with you, and hope you enjoy it, and we'll get started. I'm just going to read this little thing from Rachel Brathen, and this might help you to get more comfortable with doing yoga. The goal of yoga is called. The yoga pose is not the goal. Becoming flexible is not the goal. Standing on your head or your hands is not the goal. The goal is to create space where you were once stuck, to unveil the layers of protection you've built around your heart, to appreciate your body and become aware of the mind and the noise it creates, to make peace with who you are. The goal is to love you. Come to your yoga mat to feel, not to accomplish. Shift your focus and your heart will grow. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started with a little centering that I always do at the beginning of class. So we will just start seated on our mat. If you have a blanket, you can sit up on a blanket. That can be more comfortable for some people. If you don't have a blanket, you just sit on your mat. We're going to sit up nice and tall, let our shoulders relax, and then decide whether you like your hands turned up or down. So try both ways and see which one really feels better for you. And then gently close your eyes. With your eyes closed, I'd like you just to remember, or just to check in with your nice, normal breath. Just notice how you're breathing right now. Notice the feeling of the air on your skin. Notice the sounds of the room, the sounds of your house, wherever you're at. Just notice what's there. Just begin to become present right here, right now. And then when you are ready, we're going to begin to cultivate a nice, long, deep breath. So keeping the eyes closed, take a nice big inhale in through the nose. Feel your belly, your side ribs, and your chest expand with the inhale. And contract with the exhale. Breathing in and out through the nose as much as possible. Establish that nice, long, deep breath. We're going to bring that nice, long, deep breath with us throughout our practice. So establishing that nice, long, deep breath, still feeling the air on your skin, still listening to the sounds of the room. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly open our eyes and gently lift our arms up overhead. I'd like for you to stretch up toward the ceiling. Bring your arms about shoulder width apart and try to straighten the arms. And then lift them as high as you can without pain. Once you've found that spot, wherever that spot is for you, I want you to reach over and grab that right wrist with your left hand. Lengthen and gently curl it over to the left. So as you're curling over to the left, you're going to feel a nice stretch for the right side body, for the right shoulder. At the same time, I want you to feel that nice long deep breath in your left shoulder, in your left rib cage. And then inhale back to the center. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So just switch the wrists, lengthen that left arm, get some nice length there, and then gently curl it over. As you're curling over, you're going to feel a nice stretch for the left side, for the left shoulder. You want to feel that breath in your right rib cage. Inhale back to the center. I'd like for you to release the arms and let them gently float down to your mat. Let your fingers rest on the floor. Keep your neck nice and long. Still breathing that nice long deep breath. I would invite you to gently drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Just let your right ear surrender any amount that feels okay for your neck. Remember, pain is no gain here. We're just going to go for a nice stretch without pain. And then gently walk those left fingertips away until you feel a little bit more stretch without pain. Once you found your spot, let your right hand come up. Gently placing the right hand on the left side of the head, I want you to gently pull up and away. So you're pulling up and away, not pulling down. You don't want to crunch those vertebrae in your neck. Breathe into that nice stretch for your neck. And then when you're ready, you're going to release the head, let it float back to the center. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're up nice and tall. You're going to let that left ear drop toward that left shoulder, only going where you can go without pain. And then walk those right fingertips away. Feel that nice stretch. And then let that left hand come up to the right side of your head and gently pull up and away with your fingers, just providing a little length through that neck. Maybe you can walk those right fingertips away a little bit more, find that nice stretch for your neck. Keep breathing your nice long deep breath. And then release the head and let it float back to the center. Once you're back to the center, we're going to inhale the arms back up toward the sky. We're going to move into a nice little twist here. So I'd like for you to take your left hand down to your right knee. Your right fingertips, I want you to place right behind your tailbone. I want you to be up on those fingertips so you can lengthen your spine, be nice and tall. And then gently spin your heart to the right. If it feels okay for you, you can pull that right knee in toward the center to help you twist. You can allow your gaze to drift out over your right shoulder any amount that feels okay for your neck. Keep breathing that nice long deep breath. With each inhale, think about getting taller. With each exhale, just explore that twist a little bit more. On your next inhale, we're going to release that twist. We're going to reach back for the sky. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So let that right hand come down to that left knee, left fingertips right behind your tailbone, lengthen, and gently spin your heart. Pull that left knee in if that feels okay for you to get a little bit more twist. With each inhale, get longer and taller. Maybe you can look out over your left shoulder. Inhale, length. Exhale, find a little bit more twist. Breathing into that nice stretch, that nice twist for your spine. And then on your next inhale, slowly release the twist. Reach back for the sky. And let your hands come down through your heart center and down by your side. Once you're down by your side, if you're sitting cross-legged, go ahead and bring your feet out in front of your pelvis. Bring the soles of your feet together and make a diamond shape with your legs. So you don't want to be here in a half diamond. You want to be out here a little bit further so you got some space between your groin and your heels. We're going to lengthen the spine and we're going to gently lean forward so you're not rolling down. You're leaning forward any amount that feels okay for you. So listen to your low back, your hips, and only go where you can go without pain. If you can bring your hands to your feet, bring your hands to your feet. You can gently pull those feet in to help you lengthen your spine. On the exhale, surrender a little bit more, only going where you can go without pain. So listen to your body. You want to find that place of stretch without pain. If you get low enough to bring the elbows to the fronts of the shins, you can gently press into those shins with your elbows and lengthen that spine a little bit more. Maybe surrender into your forward fold a little bit more. A nice diamond pose here. And then inhale, slowly rise back up. From here, we're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. So just come onto your hands and knees. If you need some extra cushion under your knees, by all means, use that blanket under your knees to give yourself some extra cushion. Make sure the knees are about inner hip distance apart. Place the wrists directly under the shoulders. Spread the fingers wide. Claw the mat with your fingers so you're really grounding through the hands, opening those wrists. And then curl your toes under. Inhale, lift your tailbone, drop your belly, lift your heart for a nice cow pose. And then release your toes, drop your tailbone, arch your spine, let your head release into gravity for a nice cat. Let's flow with our breath. So we're going to inhale and lift the heart, lift the tailbone, nice long inhale, and then we're going to exhale, we're going to find our cat. Do that for a few more breaths. After your next exhale, your next cat pose, I'd like for you to slowly bring yourself back to a nice tabletop position. And then I want you to see if you can gently lower your rear end down to your heels. Now, for some of us, me included, I might not be able to make it all the way to the heels, so go where you can go without pain. And then walk your fingers forward and really lengthen your spine. Get nice and long through the spine, through the shoulders, through the arms. Ground into the four corners of the hands, claw the mat with your fingers, and allow your forehead to gently melt toward the ground. Maybe resting your forehead on the ground, maybe not. Breathe into this nice extended child's pose. Press into the hands, see if you can encourage those glutes to go a little closer to your heels. Feel your belly, your side ribs, expanding onto or towards your thighs with each inhale. With each exhale, just surrender a little bit more into this pose. And then keeping your glutes down close to those heels, I want you to walk the hands over to the right. Walk them over to the right any amount that feels okay for you. Keep breathing that nice long deep breath. You might be feeling a nice stretch for the left shoulder, the left side body, that's okay. If you can go a little bit further, maybe stack your left hand on top of your right and see if you can walk both hands away a little bit further. If you're still needing more stretch for that left shoulder, slide those left fingertips out past the right, see if you can enjoy that nice stretch in your left shoulder. Keep breathing your nice long deep breath. Feel the belly, the side ribs expanding towards your thighs with each inhale. With each exhale, feel yourself sort of collapsing onto those thighs. And then slowly walk your hands back to the center. We're going to ground into the hands, lower those glutes, let that forehead rest. Check back in with that extended child's pose. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So walk your hands over to the left as far as you can. If there's stuff in your way, move it out of your way. Get a nice stretch for that right side body, that right shoulder. Keep breathing that nice long deep breath. If you can go deeper, stack your right hand on top of your left and walk the fingers away. Find that stretch. Maybe slide those right fingertips out past those left fingertips. Feel that extra stretch for your right shoulder. You can stay here for as long as you need to. When you're ready to come back to the center, slowly walk yourself back to the center. Press into the hands. Feel the glutes lower towards your heels. Walk the fingers away. Find your nice extended child's pose. After a couple of breaths here, I'd like for you to look forward and slither down onto your belly. Once you're on your belly, I want you to place your hands in front of your face. Make a nice pillow for your head. And then let your head rest on that pillow. So you can be looking straight down. You can be looking to the left or the right. Doesn't matter. Whatever feels best for you. Find your position there. Keep breathing. And then bend the knees.
I'd like for you to rotate the feet, wiggle the toes. So just wake up those feet, those ankles, those calves, those shins by rotating the feet one direction and then rotating the feet in the other direction. And then slowly bring the feet back to stillness in the center. I want you to point your toes toward the ceiling and then drop your toes toward your shin. So flexing and pointing the feet a few times. Again, this wakes up the ankles, the feet, the calf, the shins. Just getting ready for some standing work that's going to come later. Getting your base lubricated, ready to go. And then slowly bring the legs, the feet to stillness. Gently begin to rock your legs from left to right. If it feels okay for you to change the position of your head, go ahead and change the position of your head. Let that rock build until that pelvis is gently rocking from left to right, warming up that low back, those hips. And then slowly bring the legs back to stillness in the center. Once your legs are back to stillness in the center, I'd like for you to press up with your arms and bring your left elbow directly underneath your left shoulder. Your left forearm should be parallel to the front of the mat. If you're going to have trouble with this, you might want to have your strap handy. So what we're going to do next is we're going to bring that right heel as close to our glute as we can and grab that right ankle or foot. Now, if you have trouble reaching that, you can lasso that with the strap to pull in gently. So we're going to grab the foot or the ankle. Make sure your heart is spun toward the front and your knee is in line with your hip. We're going to press the foot into the hand into the foot, rise up a little bit more through the heart. And then if you're feeling it, see if you can lift that thigh off the floor, breathe. Nice stretch for your quads, the front of your hip. Breathe into that stretch. And then slowly release. I'm just going to switch sides. Try that same thing on the other side. So bringing your right elbow right underneath your right shoulder, propping yourself up here. Then that left knee, reach back and find that ankle or that foot. Remember, you can use your strap there if you need to. Make sure your heart is spinning forward, looking forward. We're going to press the foot into the hand into the foot, and then see if you can lift that left thigh off the floor. Breathe. When you're ready, you're going to release that foot. Bring the hands directly under your shoulders, elbows by your side. We're going to ground the tops of our feet. Click your little toenails down, and then reach your tailbone toward your heels. So press your pelvis into the floor. Pull your hands energetically back, and then rise up using the abs, the low back, to lift your heart. If you think you might be using your arms, just lift your hands, that'll tell you. And then slowly release. Ground into the hands, claw the mat with your fingers. We're going to curl the toes under, and we're going to shift our hips back directly over our knees. So you're going to be in a nice half dog here. You can walk your hands a little bit further, get some nice length through your spine. So once you're in your half dog, grounding through the hands, clawing the mat with the fingers, let your ears line up with your arms, and then see if you can feel the outer edges of your arms gently roll towards your face. So that's going to just deepen your armpits and start to align those shoulders a little bit more. Let your heart melt toward the floor. So let your shoulder blades slide toward your spine. Integrate those shoulders. Get that nice bone-to-bone alignment with those shoulders. If this is enough for you already, you can stay right here. Or curl your toes under and press your hips up and away for a nice downward facing dog. Pressing into the hands, feel the hips float up and away, feel the heels drop toward the floor. Breathe into that nice stretch. And then if it feels good to you, slowly walk your dog. Bend one knee a lot, straighten the other leg, and then slowly do the same thing on the other side. So nice slow dog walk here. If you have to come back to half dog at any time, that's okay. You can walk your half dog by extending out and then doing the same thing on the other side. So walking your half dog or your full downward facing dog. We're slowly going to bring ourselves back to stillness, press into the hands, feel the hips move up and away, and then look forward and slowly walk your feet up to the front of your mat. When you get to the front of your mat, I'd like for you to place your feet about inner hip distance apart, so about 2 fists between those big toe mounds. I want you to bend your knees slightly and slowly surrender toward the floor. So let your hands slide down your shins to your ankles, to your feet. If you can touch the floor, touch the floor. Let your head just release into gravity. Keep breathing. So this can be difficult. So feel the belly, the side ribs, the chest expanding with each inhale, contracting with each exhale. And then we're going to slowly roll up 1 vertebra at a time. So just let your fingers track up your legs. The last thing that should rise up should be your head. Now we're standing at the front of our mat. Our feet are about inner hip distance apart. I want you to hug the legs in, feel your pelvic floor engage. Feel your shoulder blades slide onto your back. Find that nice mountain pose, Tadasana. And then I want you to inhale and let the arms float up toward the ceiling. On your exhale, we're going to fold halfway forward. So just lower the palms, keep the legs straight this time. Pressing the palms into your shins, your thighs, wherever you can get to. Lengthen that spine. Once you get that nice length for your spine, we're going to engage that core a little bit more just to protect our low back. So I want you to feel your inner thighs roll in and back. So gently roll the inner thighs in and back. And then feel your tailbone gently drop toward the floor. That's going to engage that core a little bit more. Keeping your legs straight, your head heavy, let your hands slide down your shins. Keeping the legs straight, you're going to stop wherever it begins to hurt. You're going to back off. You're going to find a place between stretch and pain. That's your edge. That's where you want to work in your yoga class. Just find your stretch pain point and back off just a little bit. Breathe into that nice stretch, release the head. Feel that nice stretch for your hamstrings, nice lengthening for your spine. And then bend your knees, rise up, reach for the sky. Exhale, let the hands come down through the heart center, down by your side. See if you can find that position in your mountain pose. So the inner thighs go back, tailbone drops, your core's engaged. We're going to inhale, rise up. And we're going to exhale, fold it forward. Find your nice deep forward fold, whatever that means for you. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Just be where you're going to be. On your next inhale, I want you to come halfway up. Lengthen the spine. And then bend your knees a lot. Lower your fingertips to the floor and step your right leg way, way back. So now you're in a nice high lunge. And then we're going to lower that high lunge. You're going to lower that right knee to the mat. If you need a blanket under your knee, place the blanket under your knee, cushion that knee, make sure it's happy. Another thing you need to worry about for the knee is you don't want to be up here on the kneecap. So if you're up here and you're on that kneecap, just move that knee back until you're on top of the knee and not on the kneecap. And then look forward and gently sink into your hips. Allow your pelvis to slide forward. Find a nice stretch for that left hip. If this is enough for you, you can stay right here. If you can keep that sinking into the hips and rise up to your knee, go for that. Stay on the floor if you need to. If you're still feeling good, reach for the sky, squeeze that imaginary block and sink a little bit more into those hips. Maybe curl your heart gently toward the ceiling to find that nice little back bend. And then exhale, lower the fingertips to the floor. Once the fingertips are on the floor, I want you to grab your block if you've got one and place it inside that left foot. It can be flat on its edge or on its end. And then we're going to place both hands on that block and we're going to sink our heart toward that block, feeling a nice stretch for that left hip. If you don't need the block, you can lose the block and lower toward the floor. Only going where you can go without pain. Try to breathe lightness and flexibility into that left hip. So imagine expanding that left hip with each inhale. With each exhale, just inviting lightness and flexibility in. And then slowly walk yourself up when you're ready. You can stay there for a few minutes or you can come up after a few seconds. And then slowly walk your hands back. Let your front heel lift as you lower your rear end towards your right heel. You got a nice straight front leg. And then walk yourself out over that leg any amount that feels okay for you. A nice runner's lunge here. With each inhale, find more length. With each exhale, find more depth. And then slowly walk yourself back to the front of your mat. Sink back into those hips. And then ground the hands and slide your left foot back. Once your left foot's back, bring your shoulders directly over your wrists and straighten your legs. This is your nice plank. If you need to lower the knees for modified plank, that's perfectly okay. From here, slowly lower yourself down. Try to keep your elbows by your side. Once you're on the ground, we're going to do that cobra again. So uncurl the toes, click the little toenails down, and reach that tailbone back. As you pull the hands back, rise up. Use the abs, the low back to lift, not your arms. Exhale, release. Ground into the hands, curl your toes under. Either slide back to your half dog or to your downward facing dog, whichever is better for you. Listen to your body. Feel your hips sliding up and away. Feel that length through your spine. Make sure those ears are lined up with your arms. Breathe into this. Walk your dog. Or not. You can be still here or you can slowly walk your dog. Play with both ways and see which way really feels better for you. When you're ready, walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Find your half forward fold. Spin your inner thighs, drop your tailbone, and then surrender into your forward fold. When you can't fold any further, or don't want to fold any further, maybe you can grasp your elbows and let your arms, your shoulders, your head just release into gravity. If that still feels good to you, gently begin to rock your torso from left to right. Just shifting from left to right, noticing how that changes the stretch in the legs, maybe lengthens the shoulders, the head, the neck. And then slowly bring yourself back to stillness. Bend the knees slightly, release the elbows as you reach for the sky. Exhale, let your hands come down through your heart center and down by your side. We're hugged in, plugged in, standing at the front of our mat. From here, I want you to inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale into your half forward fold. We're going to do the other side. So bend the knees, fingertips to the floor, step that left leg way, way back. Gently lower the left knee to your mat. Make sure you're on top of the knee, not on the kneecap. If you still need padding, place that blanket under your knees. Look forward and sink into your hips. Breathe into that nice stretch. If this is intense for you, back off a little bit. Just stay right here. If you can stay sunk into those hips and rise up to your knee, go for that. If you're still feeling good, reach for the sky. Squeeze that imaginary block and gently curl the heart toward the ceiling. When you're ready, slowly lower your fingertips back to the floor, still sinking into those hips. Maybe you need that block inside your right foot. Bring both hands either to your block or the floor, and then slowly lower your heart toward the floor any amount that feels okay for you. Listen to your body. Find this nice inside lunge. Keep breathing that nice long deep breath. And when you're ready, slowly walk yourself up. If you want to stay there a little longer, that's perfectly okay. Once you're up, walk your rear end back toward that back heel. Let that front foot float up, straightening that front leg. We're going to walk out over that straight front leg for a nice runner's lunge. Breathe into your stretch. And then slowly walk yourself back to the front. Sink into those hips again. And then ground the hands and slide that right foot back. Bring your shoulders over your wrists, straighten your arms, and extend your legs straight if you can. And if you need to leave the knees on the mat, that's okay. And then slowly keep your elbows close to your rib cage as you lower to the floor. Ground the tops of your feet. Click your little toenails down, reach that tailbone towards your heels, and pull your heart up and through. Breathing into your cobra. Remember, if you're not sure whether you're cheating with the arms, just lift the hands. And then slowly release. Curl your toes under. Make your way either to your half dog or to your full downward facing dog. Feel free to move this dog any way that feels good for you. So just explore your half dog or your full down dog. Maybe that means lifting a leg up toward the sky, dropping a heel over toward the opposite hip, doing the same thing on the other side. Just do whatever feels natural to you to do in this pose. Just move around, explore this pose, make it juicy. And then slowly bring yourself back to stillness. Look forward and walk your feet up to the front of your mat. Once you're to the front of your mat, place your feet about inner hip distance apart. Straighten your legs, place your palms on your shins and lengthen your spine. Inner thighs roll back, tailbone drops. And then I want you to slowly surrender into your forward fold. On your inhale, I want you to rise halfway back up, and then I want you to bend your knees and lower your rear end so it's even with your knees. And then rise up into a nice chair pose. From your chair pose, we're going to move into a twist. So I recommend bringing your left hand over to your right thigh, your right hand to your low back, and then spinning your heart. If you've got the flexibility, you can bring your hands to your heart and maybe hook that left elbow over that right knee. Listen to your back. Make sure your knees stay in alignment. So if that left knee wants to pop forward, keep it pulled back. Bring yourself back to the center. Try that same thing on the other side. And then bring yourself back to the center. Find your chair and rise up, reach for the sky. Curl your heart gently toward the ceiling. Squeeze that imaginary block if that feels good to you. And then let your hands come down through your heart center and down by your side. From here, we're going to hug in, plug in, find our nice mountain pose. And then we're going to inhale, rise up, reach for the sky. On your exhale, you're going to fold it halfway forward. Find that length through your spine, inner thighs back, tailbone drops. And then bend your knees a lot, fingertips to the floor. We're going to step our right leg way, way back. And then roll your right heel to the floor. So your back foot should be parallel to the back of your mat. And then bring your left elbow to your left knee, your right hand to your right hip, and rise up. Try to spin your heart and your hips toward the side of your mat. So you're trying to stack those shoulders over that knee. And then reach for the sky. This is your side angle pose. If you'd like to go deeper, you can lower your left hand to the block on the outside of your foot or to the floor on the outside of your foot. And then drop your right hand across your ear, stretch, a nice extended side angle pose. And then slowly lower that right hand to the floor. From here, lower the left hand to the floor, slide back to plank. From plank, gently lower yourself to the floor or stop just before the floor and inhale into up dog or cobra. So up dog, your pelvis might be lifted, your arms straight. Your cobra, your pelvis is going to be on the floor. Curl your toes under. Find your downward facing dog. Find your breath. When you're ready, walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Find your half forward fold. Spin your inner thighs, drop your tailbone. We're going to sit back into our chair. So lower your rear end, rise up. From here, instead of twisting, we're going to do something a little different. So bring your arms behind your body, arrowing the arms back. Feel those shoulder blades slide towards your back. Roll your pinkies toward each other. See if you can feel your heart open a little bit more. And then bring those hands back to the front. Rise up, reach for the sky. Exhale, let your hands come down through your heart center, down by your side. We're hugged in, plugged in, standing at the front of our mat. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. We're going to step the left leg back. So inhale, rise up. Exhale, release down into your forward fold. Only going where you can go without pain. Inhale into your half forward fold. And then exhale, bend the knees, fingertips to the ground. We're going to step that left leg way back. So I'm going to switch sides of my mat so you can see what we're doing from this side. So we're going to be here and rolling that left heel to the floor. Bring your right elbow to your knee, left hand to your hip, and spin your heart and your hips open toward the side of your mat. From here, you can stay right here and reach for the sky, or you can lower those fingertips to the floor or a block and lift up. Drop your left arm across your ear, stretch from your back heel all the way through your fingertips for a nice extended side angle. And then slowly lower your hand to the mat. Lower your other hand to the mat. Let's step back to plank and lower either chaturanga or the floor. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Up dog is this one, cobra is this one. Press into the hands. This time, we're going to send our glutes back toward our heels. We're going to find that nice extended child's pose. Going to find your nice long deep breath. So if you lost that nice long deep breath, bring it back. Taking care to just pay attention to your breath, to let go of any of the previous poses you struggled with, and just let that go. Just do what you can do without pain, no judgment. And then slowly walk your hands back towards your knees. From here, we're going to come kneeling in the center of our mat. So I recommend, if you've got sensitive knees or if you had knee surgery or something like that, to cushion those knees so you can come up onto a cushion like that. We're going to have the toes curled under. Make sure your hips are right over your knees, so you're not back here, you're here. We're going to place our hands in our low back. Feel those elbows moving toward each other, so that helps open your heart. Feel your tailbone drop towards your knees. And then slowly, just curl your heart toward the ceiling. You want to keep your head right in line with your shoulders. You don't want to drop it. You don't want to lift it. You want to keep it right in the middle. Lifting up through the heart. This is a nice little baby camel pose. Breathe into that baby camel pose, listening to your body. And then slowly rise back up. I'd like to do that 2 more times. We're going to give you the option to add on if you'd like. So you can stay right here with your hands in your low back, or you can try the options. So from here, keeping the pelvis forward, tailbone dropped, curl your heart. you can't curl any further, see if you can reach down and find your right heel with your right hand. Make sure those hips stay over the knees. And then maybe you can extend that left arm up toward the sky. This is option one. If that's too much, come back to that hands in the low back. From here, I want you to see if you can lower your left hand and find your left heel. Now, when you do that, you might shift out of your hips. If that happens, press the hips forward, lift up through the heart, find your deepest back bend. This is the full camel pose. And then bring your hands back to your low back for support. Rise back up. So I said we're going to do that 2 more times. So let's try it once more. The hips are over the knees, tailbones drop. Curl up. Remember, you can stay right here. Or maybe you can take that left hand down and find that left heel. Maybe extend that right arm up alongside your ear. Maybe find that right heel with your right hand. Press the hips forward, lift up through the heart. Find your deepest back bend. And then bring the hands back to the low back. Rise up. From here, after bending that spine, let's give it a nice stretch. So gently lower your hands to the floor. You can set your blanket aside. Ground into the hands, curl your toes under, and find your nice downward facing dog. So your down dog is just a nice counter pose for any back bends you do. So grounding into the hands, feel the hips slide up and away, find length through your spine. If you want to explore that down dog, explore that down dog. Feel those hips sliding up and away. Feel that length through that spine you just bent. And then slowly bring the legs back to stillness. Gently lower the knees to the mat. From here, we're going to make our way to a nice seated position. So coming to a nice seat. If you would like to sit on a blanket, make sure your blanket is folded something like this so you get a little lift for your hips. And then place that blanket directly behind your hips and hop up right onto the front edge of that blanket with those sit bones. So that's going to give you a little lift for the hips. From here, I'd like for you to extend both legs long. With both legs long, I want you to find a strap and have it handy. It can be a rope tie, it can be a regular tie, if your husband doesn't know, and you're good. So from here, we're going to bring our left foot up to our inner right thigh. We're going to let that left knee surrender into gravity. We're going to let that right knee roll up toward the ceiling. Flex that front foot. Take your fingertips alongside your hips. Lengthen your spine. And then take your strap and lasso that front foot. Once you got that front foot lassoed, I want you to release the strap. Press the fingertips into the floor, rise up. And then reach for the sky. We're going to fold from the waist here, so you're not curling down. You're lengthening out over that leg any amount you can. When you can't go any further without pain, let your hands come down and find your strap or your foot if you can reach it. Gaze should be out over the toes. Think about lengthening your spine with each inhale. With each exhale, think about bringing your chin toward your shin. Breathe into this nice stretch. With each inhale, lengthen your spine. With each exhale, surrender a little bit more. And then releasing the foot, let's rise up, reach for the sky. Exhale, lower the fingertips to the floor. And let's step our left foot over our right leg. So you got your left foot on the floor, you're hugging that left knee in towards your chest. I like to keep that right leg active by flexing the foot. And then you're going to take your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Your left fingertips are right behind your tailbone. Lengthen that left arm, get tall. And then gently spin to the left. Turning to the left any amount that feels okay for you. Breathe into that stretch, that twist. Maybe you can look out over your left shoulder. And then slowly release that twist. We're going to take it to the other side by bringing that left elbow inside that right knee. The right fingertips down, lengthen and spin the other way. A nice little twist. Maybe you can turn your head to look out over your right shoulder. Keep breathing that nice long deep breath. When you're ready, slowly release that twist. We're going to switch the legs. So we're just going to extend the left leg long. Move that strap over around that left foot and forget about it. And then bring that right foot up to your inner left thigh. Let that right knee surrender. If this hurts your hip or your knee, you can use a block to support that knee. So do what you need to do here. Sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, reach for the sky. And then exhale, fold forward. So you're lengthening the spine, not curling. And then see if you can find your strap or your foot. With each inhale, lengthen. With each exhale, sink just a little bit deeper. Breathe into your nice stretch. When you're ready, slowly float back up. Lower the fingertips to the floor and step that right foot over that left leg. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. Hug that right knee and flex that left foot. We're going to take that left hand to the outside of the right knee, the right fingertips behind you, and lengthen and spin to the right. With each inhale, get longer and taller. With each exhale, see if you can find a little bit more twist. You can gently pull that right knee in toward the center to help you twist. Let your gaze drift out over your right shoulder, if that feels okay for your neck. When you're ready, we're going to slowly release that twist. We're going to bring that right elbow inside that right knee. Left fingertips behind your tailbone. Get tall and gently spin to the left. Slowly spin your heart back towards your knees, towards your feet. Extend both legs long. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to hop off that blanket if you're still on one. We're going to make our way down to the floor, preparing for our Shavasana, our final relaxation pose. So slowly lower yourself down onto your back. Place your feet flat on the floor. Find a comfortable place for your back and your shoulders. Once you've got that, walk those feet in towards your glutes. Ankles and knees together. Before we go into our Shavasana, we're going to do a couple more exercises here, a couple more poses here. So I'd like you to extend your arms out to a T position with the palms up. And then I want you to cross your left ankle over your right knee. I want you to flex that left foot. So bring the toes toward the shin, reach out through the heel. Make sure your ankle bone is on the other side of your leg. And then slowly lift that right foot off the floor. This is a reverse pigeon. We're just going to bring that right knee as close to your chest as you can without pain. So you're going to feel a nice deep stretch through your hip, maybe even your quads, your hamstrings. Breathe into, you might even feel it in your groins. Breathe into that stretch. You're going to hold that and try to keep that. And take your left hand, just your left hand, and push that left knee away. So you're pushing the left knee away as you're pulling that left ankle in towards your chest. You're getting a nice scissoring for your hips. Breathing into that nice stretch. Hold that for a few breaths. And then release the knee and let that right knee come back towards your chest. Get a nice deep stretch there. And then slowly lower the right foot back to the floor. Lower the left foot to the floor. We're going to switch the cross to the legs. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So cross the right ankle over the left knee. Flex that right foot. Make sure the ankle bones are on the other side of the knee. And then lift that foot off the floor, that left foot off the floor. Bring that left knee as close to your chest as you can without pain, without using the arms. Once you've got that, keep that. And just use your right hand to push your right knee away. So you're pulling with the left knee, pushing with the right hand, feeling that nice scissoring for your hips. If you feel a pop or crack in your low back or anything, just think of it as a chiropractic adjustment, as long as it doesn't hurt. If it hurts, back off. Breathe into that nice stretch. And then when you're ready, release that right knee and let that left knee come back towards your chest. And then slowly lower the left foot to the floor. Lower the right foot to the floor. From here, I want you to have your heels right behind your tailbone, your arms out to a T position. I want you to press into the feet and just lift your hips a couple of inches. With your hips up a couple of inches, I want you to shift your hips to the right without moving your feet or your shoulders. And then let those hips settle back down. Lift your knees up directly above your hips, and then let your knees drop to the left. So you're going to be rolling up onto that left hip, bringing that low back toward being perpendicular to the floor. Let your feet relax into gravity. Breathing into this nice twist. See if you can feel your right hip moving away from your right shoulder. If it feels okay for your neck, look out over your right hand. Keep breathing that nice, long, deep breath. Feeling the belly, the side ribs, the chest expand with each inhale. Contract with each exhale. Ready, slowly allow your knees to come back toward the ceiling, your gaze to come back toward the ceiling. Lower your feet and recenter your hips. We have to do that same thing on the other side. So press your feet into the floor, lift your hips and slide them to the left. Don't move your feet or your shoulders, and then let the hips settle down. Lift the knees and then drop your knees to the right. Drop them as far as you can without pain. Maybe rolling to where your low back is perpendicular to the floor, maybe not. Breathe into this nice twist. Let your feet relax into gravity. Breathe length into that left side body. Notice if your left shoulder's lifted off the mat. If it is, just walk your right shoulder over to the right a couple of inches. And then just spin your heart toward the ceiling. See if you can lower that left shoulder a little closer to the mat. Allow your gaze to drift out over your left hand if that feels okay for your neck. Enjoy your nice, long, deep breath. Feel your belly, your side ribs, your chest expanding with each inhale, contracting with each exhale. ready, slowly let the gaze and the knees float back toward the ceiling. Lower the feet and recenter your hips. Bring your knees up towards your chest. Grab the backs of your thighs or the fronts of your knees and hug them in a little bit more. You can stay right here in a nice Appanasana pose. Make sure that your head, your neck, your shoulders are relaxed onto the mat. If it feels good to you to gently rock from left to right, you can rock from left to right. If you want to take happy baby pose, just let the knees go wider than the ribs. Let the feet move up toward the ceiling and reach up and grab your ankles, your big toes, the outside edges of your feet, but wherever you grab, make sure you can still relax the head and the neck back to the mat. Breathe into this nice opening for your hips. If this is too much, come back to that Appanasana pose. And then maybe you want to rock that happy baby. So begin to rock from left to right. If that hurts, stop. If it feels good, see if you can rock all the way over, touch one knee to the floor, and then rock all the way over, touch the other knee to the floor. Just gently massaging your back as you open your hips a little bit more. And then slowly bring yourself back to stillness in the center. Once you're back to stillness in the center, release the feet, the ankles or the knees, and lower the feet down to the floor with your feet resting on the floor. I want you to take your arms to 45 degrees, so 45 degrees away from your body. If there's stuff in your way, move it out of your way. Let your palms roll open toward the sky. Let your shoulders relax. And then gently extend your legs long. Move your heels out to about mat width apart. And then just let the feet, the legs relax. Just let them flop out to the sides. Feel your legs relax all the way up into your pelvis. Close your eyes. Shift your awareness to your nice normal breath. So let go of that long, deep breath and just be here with your breath and your body for the next few minutes. If keeping the legs long and straight is hurting your back, it's okay to bend your knees and find a place that's comfortable for your back. If lying on your back is just not comfortable for you at all, you can always roll over onto your favorite side. Let your head rest on your hands and let your knees come up towards your heart for a nice baby pose. So choose the relaxation pose that's right for you. Whichever pose you're in, shift your awareness back to your breath. Notice the feeling of the air on your skin. Listen to the sounds of the room. Notice if thoughts percolate up into your mind and try to take you away from your relaxation. Just notice those thoughts, acknowledge those thoughts, and then let them go. Just let them drift away like a cloud across the sky as you slowly come back to your breath. Back to right here, right now. then keeping your body completely relaxed. Awareness on the breath. Just give yourself a nice big yawn. Stick your tongue out. Roll it around in both directions. See if you can release any tension from your face, your jaw. And then let that tongue come back in the mouth, but keep the face relaxed. See if you can feel the corners of your eyes relax. Maybe even your scalp relax. And then when you're ready, there's no rush. You can stay here for several more minutes if that's what you need. Begin to wiggle your toes. Begin to wiggle your fingers. Begin to move your wrists, your ankles, your feet. And then slowly let your arms slide up alongside your ears. Stretch your fingers back away from your head as your feet stretch away from your torso. And then gently hug those knees back in towards your chest. Grabbing the backs of the thighs or the fronts of the knees. And then slowly roll over onto your favorite side. Whichever's your favorite. Allow your hands to make a head pillow for your head and rest your head. Just let your top shoulder melt toward the floor as you come into a nice baby pose. Still breathing that nice normal breath, feeling the air on your skin. If you haven't done so already, slowly open your eyes. And then try to keep your legs heavy and still. And just use your arms to press yourself up. Once you're up, find a nice, comfortable seat for you. It can be cross-legged or not, whatever feels good to you. I want to thank you guys for joining me for your yoga today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.